All right, so I'm just driving to work, and I wanted to just get all my notes down, get it all out of my head on the experience of Ironman. Um, I finished it yesterday, Ironman 70.3, half Ironman, in Augusta, Maine. And for anyone that's either a rookie, starting to train, or considering an Ironman, or just wants to know what it's like, here's the unedited story of what happened. So, I'm not going to go back to training or anything like that. I'm just going to start the day of. So everyone said that you don't sleep the night before an Ironman. That is 100% true. I got 2 hours of sleep. I went to bed right around 1 a.m. Woke up at 3:59 a.m. My alarm was set for 4, and I wake up, and it's just like, fuck, it's go time. Today's the day. This is going to be a long fucking day. So, take a quick shower, get all my shit, get out of there. I stayed at a terrible Airbnb. Get a hotel if you're going to do this. Don't do an Airbnb. Too many risks. But, I go, I get all my shit. I'm like force feeding myself to try to get some nutrition in, because I know I'm going to burn like a million calories all day. So, having a tough time eating, but forcing, carbs and all that shit. I get there and it's fucking chaos. It's just so many people, and so many people with family and friends helping them. So it's on top of the 2,000 plus people running, there's another a couple thousand people, and it's a fucking zoo. So anyway, I get there, and I get there at 5. It's hard to find parking, all that shit. And then you get into where transition is, which is where you're switching from swim to bike or bike to run, and everyone's setting up their shit, and there's massive lines at all the porta potties. Everyone's trying to get a morning shit out, and it's crazy. So I set up my shit, and the competitive people, the people that are legit do this for their life, they they start at 6 a.m. So anyway, we walk to the start. In Augusta, Maine, the start for swim is, the swim itself is 1.2 miles, but you have to walk to the swim, which is at least 1.2 miles. You have to go downstream. So we're walking, and you get morning clothes kits where it's you can wear whatever and then change, and they'll bring your shit back for you. But I don't know, I was fuck this shit. I'm not gonna I don't want to bring bags and other stuff and whatever. I'm just I just went barefoot in my tri-suit, which again, they say, cardinal sin, don't wear anything for the first time on race day. I totally did. I never trained in that thing. Bad idea, but it actually worked out. Anyway, so I just go barefoot in my tri-suit and bring my wetsuit. Well, actually I was wearing it at the time. I already put it on. And you got to wear the cap. It's mandatory to know the number on the head. So whether you have hair or not, you're wearing a swim cap, has your number on it so they can identify you. And it's a long fucking wait. We get there, it's 6-ish. It's already 6:15, and we're walking still to the start, and we see in the river the competitive guys going, and then we get to a sea of literally thousands of people, and they have these little pitchfork things. These little signs that say almost 5-minute windows of what you think you'll swim, what you think your time's going to be for this event. So it's 1.2 miles. Then they have picket signs that are 30 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes, and they kind of just, and they were random. They weren't rounded up or by fives. They were 43 to 48. It was it was crazy how specific they were. And I kind of go in the 40-minute one, because I didn't want to go back to the 60-minute people, and I knew I could do faster than that, but I also initially was I'm just gonna hang back and kind of have a relaxed day, kind of I don't know, I just want to finish, so I'm not gonna try to be a fucking hero here and step up way at the front. But then I talked to my buddy Rob, who I bumped into, and he was oh, everyone always jumps up to the one that they think they're gonna do and they totally can't do. So he's you're gonna end up crashing into a bunch of people if you hang back or play conservative. So I was all right, fuck this. So I went up to like the 35 or 36 to 40 minute window, and like I thought that was achievable. I thought I could do that, and I did it. I finished it in 33 minutes. So I had a schedule. What sucked is that like everyone last year for Augusta, Maine was like, it rained the night before, and apparently the river was ripping. Like this thing had crazy tide, and you could just float down the stream if you wanted to. So people were like finishing in half their normal time last year. So I was fucking excited for that. Like I was so jacked up, being like, this is gonna be great, you know. And then I get out there and it's fucking flat as can be. There's like no current. So I was like, fuck, you know. As far as like getting a little lift and not necessarily coasting down the river, but like having a way easier time, it was not that. So anyway, it gets time. I'm up kind of going through this little corral, and there's like 3 lanes, 1, 2, 3, and then as you're going down to the dock, they just kind of point to you and say which one you're going to be like launching from. So they're like, you know, number 3. So I go down number 3, and that was just good luck right there, peak for 80s, and my college number. And I went down corral 3 out of 3, and just I jump in, and before that though, they blasted music, and like that's one thing, you don't have headphones for this shit. So if you train with headphones, if you're like listening to music all the time, you do not have that at all during this. So that's something that like I've trained a little bit without music, but still had like, you know, Map My Run and some of these other apps that like tell you your pace and shit. But like now is like, it was like just me. It was like you're alone with your thoughts now for probably 7 hours. And anyway, they're blasting music and shit at the start and at every little increment, and it's good to just kind of come back to reality. Like we're all checking our phones every 5 seconds, and it's like to go without anything. It's kind of crazy. Should be normal. Anyway, they're blasting AC/DC. It comes on, and this song was it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. And like I fucking love AC/DC, so another good sign. So I hear that, I'm going down, I jump out of 3, I go into the water, and I'm in. And another, again, kind of like cardinal sin with Ironman is like, don't do the thing for the first time. And that if that's open water, like don't do it for the first time on race day. So that was me. Like I did not actually do any training on open water, and I should have. I totally should have, and I did not. I just trained in a pool. So anyway, another thing that I was like, hey, they told me not to do this, and I'm gonna do it. So I jump in, and they say it because like you can totally get into a panic. You can totally freak the fuck out, and I did. I jump in and fucking just start, you know, and you're in like, okay, fucking second. You know, we're in 5 seconds, 10 seconds of this, and I have 7 more to go. It's like, holy shit, I can't think like that. I can't think like this is never gonna end. It's like I gotta be present, I gotta find a way to like mentally just check the fuck out. And I started freaking out too because I was wearing my wedding ring and I forgot to take it off, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna lose it, because like it was kind of loose on my finger that day, and I don't know, if you work out, fingers get fat, and if you don't, it kind of gets loose. So it's like it's always in between. And anyway, I start swimming, and then like my ring was loose, and I look down, and like you just don't see the bottom. It's just black. So it's like there's nothing down there. And then I'm like cupping my hand to keep the ring on my finger, and my hand starts to cramp up because I'm trying to keep the ring on. I was like, this is not ideal. Not a good way to start. So anyway, I fucking go. I'm like usually pretty good freestyle as far as keeping straight. I was not. I went far left in like the course. I went far right in the course. And then I just hung on the right side and went buoy to buoy. It's like they got these giant triangular buoys with numbers on them. And I'm going, and right before I started, like I have a Fitbit, which is not the right device for this. But at the beginning, I did just tap the timer. It was just a stopwatch. I hit go right when I jumped in the water. And that was the only thing I thought would be helpful to me. Like I wasn't going to check heart rate and all that shit. I was just going to kind of like feel out what my body feels like and what it tells me I should and shouldn't do. But I'm swimming what feels like a while, And underwater, in between, I switch it from freestyle to breaststroke and kind of alternating the whole time. I didn't stop once. I didn't grab onto anything. So it was just a clear kind of keep, going. And there's people that flip over on their back, that take a break or start to do, sort of backstroke or grab a buoy or there's like kayaks and canoes and other shit of support and volunteers and stuff keeping track of people. So there's a lot of things like that happening. But no, I didn't take a break. Kept going from breaststroke, all that stuff. But I was saying is like the Fitbit. So I looked down and I thought I was going forever, and I was fucking 15 minutes. So I was like, wow, all right, I feel like I've been going a long time. And I see the buoys change color from yellow to orange. So I was like, oh, sweet. Like, I think that's the end. I think I'm going fast. And like, no, like I wasn't fucking close. The change in the color of the buoy was actually just a halfway mark. So I was like, oh, fuck my life. Okay. So I keep going. Didn't see any sturgeon. But I make it, I fucking see where people are getting out of the water. And when you see that, you speed up. You're just like, oh fuck, this is great. I'm gonna get out of the water. Can't wait to get on my bike. And I gotta do a transition for the first time and see what happens. Because I didn't really practice transitions, and you probably should. Like, as far as like get out of the water, dry off, put your shit on that you're actually gonna wear that day. I didn't do that once. But I had it mentally, like, here's what I'm gonna do. So I get out, and the transition in Augusta from swim to bike is fucking nuts. Because first of all, you're getting on a pretty steep ramp. It's crowded. And when you get out, it's a climb. Like, you're going up a hill that's very, very steep. And it's fucking tricky. So, I start running, and I'm like, wow, my legs kind of already feel this right now. Like, well, this is going to be fucking hard. But I get into kind of the village, the transitional zone. I bought a towel at Target because that was one of the things I totally forgot. But then I thought of the day before, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna want to like put socks on. I'm gonna want to do that stuff. Some people don't. But I bought a towel. I dried off just my feet, throw baby powder on and shit like that. Put socks on. I was still wet, but I was kind of moving. I was like feeling it. So I was like, I'm not gonna like dilly dally around here. I'm gonna fucking go. So I put my socks on. And I get the nutritional band that I was going to use just for running. I was like, you know what, I'm going to bring it with me for the bike because I might need it, because there's only three aid stations for the bike every 16 miles. So it's not like they're frequent. So I brought the nutritional belt. I already had 2 water bottles on my bike filled up that I put on from the night before, basically. But anyway, I fucking throw like chafing. I was worried about chafing, so I never really like had a problem with it. It was more of just like doing new things and going distances. I'm like, this could be what fucks me up today. So I had like this body butter stuff, and I just literally grab a blob of it, throw it everywhere, like all down the pants, everywhere, you name it, and it was fucking all over. I wet my hands real quick, take my bike, start running, and my bike shoes, they're they click in, but they're kind of like Peloton shoes when you click in. Like, they're not meant for running. But I'm on grass, so it's okay. But there's special clip-in shoes for this type of shit, and I wish I had those. So I'm like running with the wrong shoe and kind of like jogging towards the start, and like, they have a special mount zone, so you can't like mount your bike early. You have to like get to the actual arches with it says on the ground like mount zone. And once you pass that, then you're able to get on. So I did that. But this fucking goop, this body butter stuff, it was like, I mean, it was everywhere, but it was like the icy hot kind. So I'm like, it's fucking, you're feeling it. It feels like icy hot all over. So that was like not a great sensation, but I was like, at least I'll be protected, I think. Oh, and I sprayed like sunscreen on real quick because I'm like, I'm gonna probably be in the sun all fucking day. So I had sunscreen just real quick, and put on glasses. Need sunglasses. That's a must-have. Helmet, all that shit. Anyway, I take off on the bike, and the bike, I'm feeling good. Like, I fucking take off, motoring, and there's so many people moving all like kind of at once, but like you go to the right, and if you're gonna pass, you go to the left, and like I'm weaving around people and shit. I'm moving. I'm feeling great. And again, I'm kind of like a little delusional. I'm on 2 hours of sleep. I just finished the swim, and I'm like, it's just chaos. So I'm like, I don't even know where I'm at, and I'm fucking moving. So like, what I feel is good. And I passed the fucking 10-mile marker, and I was like, fuck, like I'm really hauling. And then like, I started doing the math in my head. I'm like, there's no fucking way. I was like, that's the run 10-mile marker, which is evil, first of all, to put it even remotely close to the 5-mile marker. So like that kind of got me thinking one way, and then I was like, oh no, like this is bullshit. It's like a little bait and switch. So anyway, I'm moving, biking, all that shit, and it's really cool. The course, the start, kind of leaving Augusta was really cool. There's some good hills, and just like in general, when you sign up for Ironman, they give you like categories. There's kind of like 3 categories of bike in like any really stage of this, like with the run too. But it's like, it's either flat, it's rolling, which is like bumps and kind of cruising along, or it's fucking hilly. And they labeled this as rolling, which whoever came up with this, they're clearly in marketing, but like they are an asshole, because it was not rolling. It was anything but rolling. It was fucking hills non-stop for 56 miles. So that was fucking annoying, because like everything was up, and then like you think, oh, I'm gonna catch fucking down, like I'm gonna fucking go down one of these things at the start, yes, but like in the middle, when you're going down, and this is like pure evil, is like you go down and then it would be a sharp turn. So like you'd either have to brake a lot, you couldn't use the momentum, or there'd be like a really sharp turn and some traffic where you almost have to come to a stop. So it's like, I just biked up this motherfucking mountain, and now I want to just glide down, hauling, doing like 30 plus miles an hour, and you take off, but then when you get to the bottom, you're braking. You're killing all that speed. So like that was wicked annoying. It was so hard, the hills, and it was around 25 miles that there was one on a bridge, specifically like banging a right, that I was like, this is stupid. I was like, and then like every time, I see another hill coming up, I was just like, fuck you, like out loud. And like, they say whether you're like lifting, working out or whatever, but like you verbally show like aggression, it's like helpful. This wasn't like intentional at all, but it was just like literally, I was like, fuck you to every single hill. It was brutal. And I like shouted sometimes. I was just like, I was pretty vocal on the course. And that was one thing that was really cool, was like, there's constantly people passing you, and you're passing people, and people struggling and whatnot, but everyone's so fucking nice. Like the Ironman people in the community and all that, they're like the nicest people in the world. So they're like, you fucking got it, buddy. Like, you got it, bro. Like all this shit. And like really just saying things of like reassurance. And like when you're out on the bike, you have sporadic like fans, people that come out front cheer for you, but there's not a fucking like parade going on. It's like you and yourself, and hopefully you're following the bikers that are around you. But people were wicked nice, and like, rubs off. And then all of a sudden, like, I see people struggling, I'm like fucking cheering them on. I'm like, let's fucking go, man. Like, let's fucking climb this hill. Like, let's fucking do this shit together. It was like, really, the camaraderie of it was like really special. And I didn't take one break. I didn't get off my bike until the second aid station. The first aid station, I literally, like, I bought water bottles, so I had these, and I'm like, fuck these, because like one of them was empty. And they have like Poland Spring bottles with the squirt tops that they hand out, or have like holding out, so you can just keep going and just grab them on the run. So like, and they had mortal hydration, which is like electrolytes and shit. So they had that shooken up in Poland Spring bottles, and then regular white clear ones, which is water. And so the first aid station, I literally just chuck one of my water bottles that I brought and grab one of the Poland Spring hydration ones, mortal, which it was margarita flavor. So the whole fucking time I'm sipping on margaritas. And it tastes good. But it's like, after a few, you're like, wow, this margarita flavor is not, I'm not having it. But anyway, the only time I got off was the second aid station. It was because I was like chugging to try to force myself to feel the sensation of peeing, because I haven't peed. I haven't peed at all since the morning before starting. I didn't pee while swimming. I didn't pee at all. So I hit the second aid station. I jump off just to see, because I was actually gonna piss on the bike. I thought that was gonna be cool, like to just kind of keep going. And I'm like, do people do that? And I'm like, it'll probably hit my back tire and then like throw the pee back on my back. I was like, this is probably a terrible idea. Anyway, they have porta potties at the aid station. So I jump off to pee, and I just want to see the color of my pee, whether I was like dehydrated or what. And I jump in the porta potty, go. And it was pretty clear. So I was like, this is fucking great. I was like, I'm not super dehydrated. I'm kind of keeping up with my nutrition. I've had some packets, some goo packets for energy, caffeine, because I took like one sip of a coffee. So anyway, I'm keeping up with that. Leaving that second aid station, it's long. The second half of the bike is really long. There's a lot of fucking hills, and these asshole hills that were just really tough. But battling. And then like you see there's some people that like got off their bike on some of these hills because they're crazy steep and your legs are fucking feeling it. And I learned a lot of just like watching other bikers. Some people like unclip, shake their legs out while they're going, or like the way that they use their nutrition, or like had like zip pouches on the front, or they had like cool shit that I like just didn't have. But I was like, hey, if I ever to do this again, I think I would totally do that. So I'm getting towards the end of the bike, and I'm like, get me the fuck off this bike. Like, get me out of here. Because it was just so long. And like, you get to like the 40, and like, you're seeing the mile markers, they go up by 5. So you're seeing like the 40 mile marker, and eventually the 45, and then eventually the 50. You're like, I can do this. And you're seeing like mentally in your head, I probably have another like half hour to go. I probably have another whatever to go. But I was like, get me the fuck off this bike. It's been so long. And I didn't want to look at my watch. I know I said I'd keep time, but I decided like to not look at it, because then I'll be like, oh, I'll probably fucking start playing mind games in my head of like, I have how much long to go? Another 3 hours? 4 hours? So I get off my bike. Oh, sorry, way too early. I'm fucking moving and getting up there, see the 50 mile marker. I'm like, okay. And I see I'm kind of like entering Augusta again. I'm like getting back into the city. So I'm like, this is good. I got good vibes here. I'm going to get off my bike. I can't wait to get off my bike. And my legs were hurting. My left hammy, I could like feel aches and pains in my hands. My elbows somehow felt okay. Triceps were on fire. I didn't even use the aero bars at all. Although I bought them, it was fucking imposter syndrome. I was like, I think I gotta have these if I'm gonna do this. But I just kind of held my bike. I just kind of held the handles and just did the thing. Anyway, I'm getting into the city. I'm about to I have like 1 more mile to go. I look to my right, and I see a sign that has my name on it. And it's Cecilia, my dad, and my boys. And I fucking lose it. Like, I want to stop and just give them a big hug, because I'm thinking about them so much. And I was up there by myself, and I went solo, and that's not smart to go alone. It's nice to have people there with you, whether they're cheering you on or whatever, just like to help with all the shit and the bags and whatever. It's like nice to have someone, or would be. But I saw them, and I wasn't expecting anyone. I was expecting to do this day alone, recover, and then just drive home. And I was thinking the whole bike, I was like, I can't wait to go home and see my family. Like, I can't wait to hug my kids. And then I see them, and I'm like dehydrated, but I'm fucking waterworks. I am so emotional. And then I was like, fucking A, I gotta finish this thing. Like, and there was never a doubt of that, but I mean, there was a little bit. Yeah, I'll be honest. There was a little bit. And the night before, and like getting all hyped for this thing, a little break, I watched a bunch of like Rocky clips, some David Goggins podcast, a bunch of shit just to get me all fired up. And like, not to go full David Goggins, but like was watching the original Rocky, and like round 14, like Rocky was never supposed to go the full distance with Apollo. Round 14, he's down, got knocked down, and his trainer, like his coach, tells him to stay down, and he fucking works his way to the ropes, gets himself up, and that round 14 moment for me happened like 100 times, where I'm like, holy fuck, I should stay down, but I'm gonna get myself out. It literally was probably every hill. It was like round 14. Anyway, I get off my bike. I recorded a quick clip because I was like, this transition, I was like, I just grabbed my phone because it was in my bag, recorded, and I wanted to get my like genuine thoughts. And I like was like, I was like all discombobulated because like everything and just seeing my family. But I like recorded a quick clip. It was like, you know, just holy shit, this is so fucking hard. And it was just like the honesty of the moment that I was trying to capture and what I was thinking at the time. But transition 2 was like way easier because you're just like shedding some stuff and changing your shoes, and you're already like, you're not drying yourself off or any of that shit. So I changed my shoes out, throw some baby powder in them, keep the same socks on, although I wish I had better compression socks. I just like them more. These ones were a little thicker, but I throw those on. I got my belt, and I didn't have a water bottle. Like a lot of people run with a water bottle to hydrate whenever they want, fucking take a swig. That was something I knew that Ironman had down like perfectly, was the aid stations for the run is every mile. So like I went nothing. I was like, I'm not carrying a water bottle. I will literally just live mile to mile, and that's what I did. But like the first half mile felt like a million miles. So like it's tough to get going. And actually after my first step, my right foot kind of got all fucked up. It just like felt fucked up, and it's been that way in training. I've been pretty honest about it for the most part, just about you know, soreness. So it was like no surprise, but I wasn't gonna like fucking chicken out because of it. I was like, if it fucking blows up on me, it blows up on me. If I don't finish because of it, I knew like I shouldn't have done it. But I was like, I'm not gonna not go. I'm not gonna not try this thing. But I take my first step and it feels like shit. Like it feels like I like rolled an ankle hard, and my right hammy's acting up, or my left hammy. Although my right later on is acting up, but like I take off, start jogging, and I'm limping. Like it's like a noticeable, like not normal type of jog. So I'm like, fuck. And I was at 4 hours and 30 minutes, right, pretty much on the dot. So I was like, I'm gonna have a great time. Like I originally, before I took that first step, I was like, I'm gonna get a really good time. I think I can do this in a couple of hours, based on training and all that. The wheels stay on. But you take off, and the course guides you down to the river, and so you kind of go down sort of the transition you came up from the river. So you go down it, and there's just this long, you know, trail. It's pavement, but like it goes along the whole river, and they got it marked really well. And you take off down one side of the river, and as you're going down that side, you see people coming back on the other side, so they kind of divvy it up the walkway that way. But same thing as the bike, there's people on the right, there's people running around you, passing on the left, and you just kind of fucking fall in where you fall in. And I take off, and it was crazy shady. So that was like incredible. After like such a hot day, it was like 85, 86. After a hot bike, which you really felt it the second half of the bike, during the run, you fucking felt it. But I was in the shade, so I was like, this is amazing. And then what I was trying to do was, there's little gaps of sun, so I was trying to run as best I could during the sun part, and then jog, limp, walk, whatever during the shade, and really try to just let my body recover a little bit. But it was shady for the first 8 miles, which was pretty good. So you go down the river, and then they have like a turnaround zone, and you come back the other side, and you cross the street at one point, the busy street, and there's people there, like police officers, everyone helping, volunteers, all that stuff. So, you know, you kind of come back, and it's tough. At this point, you're like, I'm gonna finish, but like, please God, I hope my body doesn't give out on me. Like my legs, my right foot and stuff. And you do see people that like, they fucking eat it. They just call it a day. So I saw people on the bike quit. You know, you see people on like get injured, like literally get hurt, like really hurt. And there's like aid stations, or like people that come and like try to help you. But like there's people that do not finish. The DNFs are real. So anyway, I get to mile 8, and then it's just like, this was the tough part on the run. It was so fucking hot, and then from mile 8 to the end, there's zero shade, and it's going up a hill, like a steep hill. So you're 5 miles of, you know, going through kind of downtown Augusta. You're going up this fucking mountain-ish. Look out on the water. I saw a sturgeon jump out of the water, which was like fucking cool. So really felt a part of the event with that being on their logo. But no, you kind of go up, and I was going back and forth with this guy Joe in a tri-suit, and it was just funny because you're just kind of putting along, and you're getting ahead of someone, behind him, and playing like leapfrog. And I became buddies with this guy Joe. I was like, Joe, we got the same pace today, brother. And he's laughing, he's having a good time, and we're just kind of making it through it together, which was just cool. It was nice to like get camaraderie at points during the bike and during the run. Like it was all good stuff. People high-fiving, you know, going past the other way and stuff, and just little pep talks along the whole way. So anyway, I get to like mile like 10, 11, and then I see Pat Florence, who I work with, and he got me so fired up because, like, again, I didn't think anyone was coming. I saw my family, and yeah, I saw him once during the run, I should say. They got me all fired up around like mile 6, I think it was mile 5, mile 6, but something like that. Anyway, I saw my buddy Pat. He got me so fired up. He drove up. Like, what a commitment, just to have friends that come out of like literally nowhere and pop up yelling your name and stuff and cheering you on and helping. Like, so great. So he was great, give me little coaching tips. Hey, this big, you know, hill that is causing people problems at the end, good luck with it that way. And all, he was just like, it was just so nice. So I hit mile 11, mile 12, and I'm like, let's fucking go, one more mile to go. And you got to do the exact same climb from the transition of the bike to kind of end it, to go up and around. So, and it was a bitch getting out of the water. So I was like, fuck, you got to end on that. And I stopped jogging, and the girl's like behind me is like, what are you stopping for? Like, she like chirped me pretty good, and she's like, we're finishing together. And I was like, fucking A. And we just went up, her and I, ascended to the top, went through that. She was great. She was a hot shit that just kind of like was kind of grilling me, but it was just motivational. So, but this was great. Someone's like, you got 300 yards to go. And when I'm like thinking about how far it's been, how long it's been, at this point, it's almost 7.5 hours. And that was my goal when I got hurt and started doing the math in my head, was like, I really, really want to finish before 7:30. I really want to finish it, just because like I've been limping, I'm hurt. If I can finish before that, it'd be incredible. So I get to the top of the hill, 100 yards to go. You make the turn, you see the carpet, and I wish I heard my boys, my two sons, my wife were there cheering on the edge by the carpet, but I was so locked in. I was so laser focused on just getting to the end of this thing that I didn't see him, and I just enjoyed the moment. I just kind of soaked it all in. But when you see that, it is incredible. And I finished at 7:29, so I did 7:29 in 43 seconds. So I beat the 7:30 mark in my head by 17 seconds. So that was it was crazy. It was really fucking hard. I feel so accomplished. I feel like I haven't drank this year. It's been since December 23rd, 2023. Today's like July 29th, 2023, 2024. So it's been a long road of kind of training, and I didn't do a great job training. I did just okay. I could have done way better, and way more, but it was kind of a rest, let the body recover situation, because I don't know, I'm getting a little bit older and the body's not taking it too well. But anyway, I do feel like incredibly accomplished. The goal is not a half Ironman. The goal is a full Ironman. So I got that lingering in my head. But I do feel like this was really fucking hard. And anyone that does it, my respect to you, because it's really fucking tough. But man, feels good. Feels great. My body feels like shit right now. While I'm doing this, my body fucking hurts so bad. So it hasn't been 24 hours. It was yesterday that I finished, and now it's the morning after, and I'm hurting. But that's a quick download of what I'm feeling. There's little stories in between all that, but I wanted to kind of get it all out there, unpack my thoughts, and just kind of have this as a little memory of what I was going through. But hurting. I'm hurting. I need some aminos in me. But anyone that wants to know what it's like, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to help anyone that is interested in this stuff, because I found it fascinating, and I'm not built for endurance. My body was not meant for this stuff, and I pulled it off. So hey, if you're thinking about it, you can totally do it. You just gotta do the right things for a long period of time. It's just compounding doing the right things for a long period of time. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And Augusta was fun, but it's hard. That bike's fucking hard. But thanks for watching.